Jonathan Larson at TYT Investigates has found some more shocking information in regard to Pete Buttigieg, his donors, and how his ties to certain people could be influencing his decision to refuse to release some police tapes where white police officers in South Bend are accused of saying racist things about the department's first African-American police chief. Now again, Buttigieg has refused to release the tapes. He could unilaterally make the decision to do so, but he has refused. So what's going on? Well, first, let me just back up a little bit. 2 months ago, Mayor Pete actually cut ties with a Chicago lawyer who blocked the release of videotapes showing police shooting 17-year-old Laquan McDonald. Now that was a huge scandal, huge controversy, so you could understand why Buttigieg would cut ties with that lawyer. But now he's mixed up with a different lawyer who could be influencing his decision to block the release of the police tapes. So according to the reporting by Jonathan Larson, unlike the Chicago tapes, these involve Buttigieg himself, and the tape's contents could prove politically damaging to him. For years, speculation about the tapes has focused on whether white police used racist rhetoric. But TYT revealed in September that police allegedly also discussed using Buttigieg's donors to get him to oust Darryl Boykins, the city's first African-American police chief. Okay, so the city is no longer in court blocking the tapes, but a lawyer whose firm has donated to Buttigieg still is. So that's the big issue here. The name of the lawyer is Dan Pfeiffer, and he actually represented the cops in the original case and is now representing a new set of cops who want the tapes to be kept secret, okay? So let me give you some more from the reporting. Buttigieg has refused to say whether he has or will release his campaign finance forms from his 2011 mayoral race. The county clerk destroyed its copies in accordance with state record retention laws. But a copy of one filing obtained by TYT shows Buttigieg got a donation from Pfeiffer's firm and from partner Richard Morgan individually before he won the mayoral primary. Morgan individually also gave $1,000 to Buttigieg in 2011. Even in 2015, when Buttigieg had no real competition for his re-election, the Morgans gave him another $1,000. Now, Pfeiffer said this is not something that the firm is doing, right? The firm isn't donating. We're donating to Buttigieg individually, as if that makes anything any better. Again, Pfeiffer is the one who's trying to block the release of the police tapes. But here's what Pfeiffer told TYT, and I know you'll love this, Cenk. He said, quote, "You have to contribute to certain people in the community if you want to be a productive member of the community from a business standpoint."
That's exactly the problem. Oh my God, he just flat out admitted it. Look, and he said we give to all the Democrats because Democrats win in that town. Because if you want to do business, you gotta. He's not saying bribe, he's not saying that word. And nobody says it outside of this show. But when you give from a business standpoint to influence a politician, what would you call that? Now in this country, it's legal. That's why I call it legalized bribes. And so he just flat out says it. Now look, let's look at a couple of hypocrisies here. So in Laquan McDonald, because it's a national case and the national media is asking about it, Buttigieg says, oh my God, the cops gotta release the tapes. In South Bend, the cops have tapes that they recorded that they've been fighting for years to keep secret. And he goes, no, they don't have to release those. Oh, why don't they have to release those? Well, because the national media didn't ask me about it. Only TYT asked me about it. Only the African-American community in South Bend asked me about it. I don't need to listen to either one of those people. What do I care about them? If the New York Times asked me, which they of course never would because they're on my side, then I might have to answer. But right now I don't have to answer at all. So I'm gonna keep the tapes of potentially racist cops in South Bend, where I was mayor, totally secret, even though I know what's on the tapes. But in Chicago, where it doesn't matter to me at all, oh yeah, release the tape, sure, and I'll return the donor money. Are you gonna return the donor money of the lawyers fighting to keep those tapes secret in South Bend? No, not gonna return the money, because why? The mainstream media loves me and didn't ask me. Actual real news people at TYT Investigates asked me, because they're independent journalists and their job is not to kiss my ass for the entirety of the campaign. So if you're a real news person, of course I'm not gonna answer you. Mainstream media, come in here and defend me, okay? My God, is anyone in the national media going to ask him about these tapes where Our investigative reporting team, that is an objective unit of TYT, has found out that on the tapes, the cops say white people are going to be back in charge. We're going to have Buttigieg's donors fire the black police chief. And then Buttigieg comes in, and then they say on the tapes, based on what witnesses that have seen it or heard it, yes, the donors talked to him. He's gonna get rid of Boykins, the black police chief. And then he gets rid of him. He did it. So he tries to fire him, then he demotes him. He got rid of Boykins, just like they say in the calls. Do you know that his lawyers have the tapes? Or I should say, they know what's in the tapes. So he says, oh, I don't know what's in the tapes. Golly gee, well, I don't know. His lawyers know. Buttigieg's lawyers know.
And Buttigieg is still the mayor of the
That's
town.
my, look, when I say he knows, that's not TYT Investigates. That's my logical conclusion and opinion, okay? TYT Investigates has the facts, so people should look into the facts, but of course they refuse to because it's a giant Buttigieg protection racket. And then I wanna tell you one other thing about that. Do you know that what Pfeiffer and the other folks that are trying to protect the police, the racist cops in South Bend are doing? Racist cops, is my opinion, because they say they wanted white people back in charge. And they also spoke Ebonics. By the way, as everybody's denying it, like, oh, no, Captain Dave Wells, one of the officers, went on a radio show and said, quote, that TYT story says I was talking in Ebonics or some whatever that means. Maybe, I don't know, I don't remember. In other words, he did, okay? It's in the tapes. Buttigieg won't release them because it could damage his reputation. Meanwhile, the African American community in South Bend's like, what's in the goddamn tapes? These are the cops that are taking action, including taking a young African American's life recently, okay? So it happens over and over again. But what I wanted to get to was, on January 22nd, there's gonna be a hearing. This is in the middle of the campaign, so it's coming up, okay, in about a month, where Pfeiffer, the guy that we were quoting, and by the way, who's representing the cops for free, out of the goodness of his heart. I mean, they donated to Buttigieg. They want to protect Buttigieg. And look at this, they're a lawyer who's part of the people donating to Buttigieg, just freely giving legal work to these cops. Keep the tapes in, keep the tapes in. When Jonathan Larson asked about it, he said, well, it is free, but it's not pro bono. Why isn't it pro bono? It's kind of part of the old case. Yeah, that's how a lot of lawyers do it. They're like, no, I'm not gonna charge you. That's part of the old case. I'll work for free for years. And why don't you want to call it pro bono? Because you got issues. Anyway, in the hearing, Pfeiffer's motion is to destroy the tapes. Now, the simplest question in the world. So mainstream media, I'm not asking you to challenge Buttigieg, God forbid, okay? Just ask the simplest question in the world. If there's nothing wrong in the tapes, why do they want them destroyed? If the tapes were, hey, maybe they made a perfect call. If they made a perfect call, then we should hear the tapes and we'll say, congratulations, South Bend cops. It turns out you weren't being racist to the African American community. It turns out the shootings were justified and all the things that were justified. And Pete Buttigieg, congratulations for putting all the white people back in charge among the cops. And if it doesn't say that, you know what? You'll get to embarrass TYT. Oh, TYT, you got the tapes wrong. It turns out they didn't say the white people are gonna be back in charge. They didn't speak Ebonics. Here's the tapes, we didn't destroy them. Prove us wrong, you can. And the entire media lets Buttigieg hide.
100%.
This is amazing reporting by Jonathan Larson. So he's our managing editor. The TYT Investigates is objective. They don't do opinion, we do opinion, okay? Look at the facts, but the media doesn't wanna do that, why? Infinitely biased, unbelievably biased. They will look at every single little thing that any other candidate has done. But when it comes to Buttigieg, no, that's beloved Wall Street Pete. I don't want to know the facts. Oh, there's unbelievably damning tapes in South Bend. The only thing Pete Buttigieg has ever done was be mayor of South Bend. He's now leading in Iowa. They said, no. Well, if he's leading, then the press will get tough on him. He wasn't important before. He took the lead in Iowa and New Hampshire. And they're like, well, I mean tapes. Where it's wildly racist cops potentially, and they say about it's Buttigieg's donors that are making Buttigieg protect those cops. No, I wouldn't want to do news. So it's the Buttigieg protection racket. Mainstream media, you're an absolute embarrassment.